Hi. Happy Wednesday, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Time Out Overtime on the Time Out Overtime YouTube channel, live and direct from the Frank Beck Chevrolet Studio Annex. I'm Rick Arsenal. First things first, if you haven't done so yet, please. It's so relevant. Get down there in the corner and give that subscribe button a smash. Will you please? You'd be doing me a great favor. And remember, just remember, tell your friends. Let them know the next subscriber will be the winner. You know what they're going to win, and so do I. I've already told you. So, let's get a few things out of the way first. You saw the headlines. I'm going to focus mainly today on on what Dan Campbell had to say this morning on his weekly radio show at 97.1 The Ticket, the Lions flagship. What he had to say to John Jansen and Jim Costa, I thought was quite revealing. Anyway, let's get a few minor things out of the way first before we get into our commercials and then do the Lions. Quickly, Red Wings are in action tonight. They're 2-1. Little Caesars Arena, puck drop at 7. They'll take on the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. I said the Wings come in 2-1 after two consecutive wins over Toronto. Then they've got Tampa Bay coming in Friday night. So it's the invasion from the south, if you will. The next couple of games at Little Caesars Arena. Quickly, football. Michigan, after their loss to Southern Cal, has dropped out of the top 25. And they're taking on the Washington Huskies at noon at the Big House on Saturday on Fox. Last I looked, I think they were, 4.5, 5.5 point favorites? I think so. I think Michigan will win. Not sure they'll cover, but I think they'll win Saturday. Someone asked me, do they still have a shot at making the playoffs? If you were to ask anyone were to ask me that, I would tell you not unless they can beat Ohio State at the Big House on the final game of the season. That loss to Southern Cal hurt in more ways than one. So Southern Cal looks like a playoff team to me, but unless Michigan can really turn it around and win out, and that includes a win. Look, if they can run the table and beat Ohio State, I think they're in. I don't see them beating Ohio State. Between now and then, the schedule looks pretty easy. Okay, let's see what happens Saturday. Michigan State Spartans, there is no bigger Spartan fan. There is no bigger Spartan fan than the inimitable Mr. Tim Stout. Yeah. How long is he? He's at least 4 decades now that he's been the sports director at WILX TV Channel 10 here locally out of Lansing. And last night, he described the Michigan State football Spartans as beleaguered. For Tim Stout to refer to the Michigan State football team as beleaguered. Remember, there's no bigger Spartan fan than Tim Stout. I'll admit to you, I'm a bigger Michigan fan than I am a Michigan State fan. And when the two teams were meeting, I'm rooting for Michigan. But other than that, I want to see the Spartans win. I have no personal vendetta. Obviously, I've never met Jonathan Smith. He seemed like a very good person. Pat Caputo, who works at the Ticket, I'm sure you're all familiar with him, says he doesn't think the Spartans will win another game this year. And if that's the case, only after just 2 years, with a new athletic director. I don't see them bringing Jonathan Smith back. I'm sorry. I see why don't they ever have luck with head coaches who are named Smith at Michigan State? That's too bad. Basketball is good. Hockey is good. Other than that, they have a very good athletic program at Michigan State. But football, they just can't seem to get it right. And I'll admit, the Mel Tucker scandal sent them reeling. It really did. And, it was Tom Izzo's idea, and among others, people to give Tucker that 10-year contract worth almost $100 million. Okay. So anyway, getting back to the Spartans, they at 3:30. They'll be in Bloomington, Indiana, to take on second-ranked Hoosiers, I guess. 3:30 on Peacock, exclusively on Peacock. Unless you have a subscription to Peacock, you cannot see the game. And you might be better off not seeing it, because the Spartans are 4-touchdown underdogs. Last time I looked, Indiana was a 27.5-point favorite over Michigan State at 3:30 Saturday. Why would you want to go out of your way to buy a subscription to Peacock just to see this? The commercials for gambling, they say if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. If you go out and go out of your way to purchase a subscription to Peacock just so you can see this game, you've got an issue too. I don't know who you would call, but it wouldn't be 1-800-GAMBLER. I'd have to think of something humorous. 1-800 something right now. 1-800-Spartans. I don't know. 1-800-Peacock. I don't know. If you were, I'm just saying, if you go out of your way to purchase a subscription to Peacock to see this game, you've got an issue. This will not be a pretty sight on Saturday. I can assure you of that. And when Tim Stout says they're beleaguered, I've never referred the Spartans football as beleaguered, but he did yesterday. Baseball quickly. Game 3 of the National League NLCS, Milwaukee and LA tonight to take on the Dodgers. LA has a 2-game stand-on lead. Check that. I'm sorry, that's tomorrow night. Today's the day of travel. I'm sorry, for the National League. Okay, the Dodgers just won last night to go up 2-0. They're traveling back to LA today. Game 3 will be tomorrow night. It's game 3 of the American League Championship Series in Seattle tonight. Blue Jays and the Mariners, with the Mariners have got 2 games to none lead in that one. And by the way, Alex Bregman indeed has exercised his option with the Red Sox. He was only there for 1 year. Once again, he's a free agent. So here we go again. Did the Tigers make him an offer? Well, there are a lot of free agents. Kyle Tucker, the Cubs, is a free agent this offseason. Bichette of the Blue Jays is a free agent. A lot of high-profile free agents will be on the free agent market this year. I know he's a left-handed batter, but if any of these guys are free agents out there, I'd much rather see the Tigers make a play for Kyle Tucker than I would Alex Bregman. For one thing, he's younger. Bregman has been hurt too much. He's 32 years old now. Why is he opting out? Because he wants a longer-term deal and obviously more money. It's obviously a conspiracy between him and his agent, Scott Boras. That's the bottom line, folks, is money. That's the only reason he's opting out of his contract. He wants a longer-term deal, and he wants more money. How much money is enough, Scott Boras and Alex Bregman? How much money? It's hard to fathom, isn't it, for us poultry paupers, and you see all these money being thrown around like it's monopoly money. I'm telling you, I don't know. Anyway, let's do this, and then we'll talk a little bit about what transpired this morning on the radio. Pardon me. As you know, we wouldn't be doing this without the assistance of Quality PC in downtown Hillsdale at 37 Waldron Street, directly across the street from Fat Jack's Automotive, 37 Waldron Street. Quality PC, the only place in our area to go for tech services. Nothing else. There's no other place to go. Tim Lindley and his staff more than capable of resolving any technical issues you have at all. Right here. We're so lucky to have them. 37 Waldron Street. Anything at all. Computers that were used, flat screen TV mounting, programming setup, perhaps you're changing internet providers that he did installed, printers, new review, anything at all. Please get in there and see them, because it's the only place around here to go for technical assistance. 517-610-5372, or like I said, better still, get in there and see them at 37 Waldron Street. And when you do, tell them Rick and Mickey sent you, will you? Thank you very much. Dan Campbell on his radio show this morning, I'll briefly paraphrase about a 12-minute dialogue that he had with Jim Costa and John Jansen, but I'll briefly paraphrase two key things that he had to say. One was when asked about Lee McNeil, he's playing, and Lee McNeil is playing Monday night. I don't know how many snaps he's going to get if he'll be on a snap count. But that's great news. Number 54 is back on the defensive line for the Lions. That's great news. There's a possibility. It looks right now like it's 50-50 that Mike Evans might play for the Bucks. Maybe 50-50. As you know, the Bucks are pretty well banged up too. So I think that's part of the reason they're. Somebody asked me today, why are the Lions 5.5-point favorites? Well, for one thing, they're playing at home. Goff plays better at home. Lions have developed a very good home field advantage. It's very tough to win on the road in the NFL now. And simply put, Las Vegas thinks the Lions are a better team than Tampa. And I would think the winner of this game on Monday night, at least for 1 week anyway, would have to be proclaimed, albeit the fact that they're 5-2 would have to be proclaimed the best team in the National Football League, at least in the NFC anyway. I mean, the Bills have 2 losses. The Eagles have 2 losses. Chiefs had 3 losses. Look, there are no, folks, there are no elite teams in the National Football League this year. That's a simple fact. Okay, I'm telling you that. Power rankings are merely a conjecture. That's all they are for your consumption. That's all power rankings are. They're a conjecture on someone's part. Well, anybody can do a power ranking if they want to. They've got a perfect right to. John Jansen this morning does the power rankings on the ticket. He had the Bucks and the Lions 1 and 2 in the rankings. And I tend to agree with him. I think the winner of this game, at least for 1 week anyway, will probably be proclaimed the best team in the National Football League. 2 good teams going at it. That's the feature game of the week this week. Anyway, getting back to another thing Dan Campbell said, just for the record, he was asked to clarify something. In regard to the touchdown that wasn't allowed after the Lions consumed 10 minutes, went all the way down the field, 4th and 1. Looks like they executed a perfect play. Goff went back to the bench, put his baseball cap on, relaxing there. They were getting ready to kick the extra point. You wonder what the delay was. Well, apparently the officials, somebody got a call from New York. Yeah, telling him that don't allow this play. Don't allow this play. I'd like to clarify something right here. Campbell was immediately told by one of the officials that call came from New York after the game. the head referee or head official meeting with a pool of reporters, when specifically asked about this, said, no, we made the call. Nothing from New York. Somebody's lying. Okay? Someone is lying, folks. And why do you lie? You lie to cover something up. Okay? Why does anybody lie? Because they're concealing the truth. They're covering something up. When you lie, you're dishonest. So right now, Roger Goodell has egg all over his face. I'm going to read this to you here. And when Campbell was asked this morning then about it, and he said, well, I really can't discuss it. But Jim Costa, the last question in regarding this, said, but you were told by an official that the call came from New York. Campbell answered, his one-word response was, yes. Somebody's lying. Someone is lying. It's not illegal in a criminal sense for the NFL to make a remote call to overrule a touchdown. Repeat that. It's not illegal in the criminal sense for the NFL to make a remote call to overrule a touchdown. But doing so for a non-reviewable penalty, which is what this was, would violate the league's own rules. It would violate the league's own rules. Because it's what? Okay, so what we're getting at, because this is a league rule, then they can violate it if they want to. Well, it's our rules. Screw the rule. This is our league and our rules, so we can do whatever we want. Is that what this is? Doing so, I'm going to repeat, doing so for a non-reviewable penalty, which is what this was, would violate the league's own rules. The controversy surrounding the overturned Jared Goff touchdown for the Lions against Kansas City in October 2025 highlights the conflict. What is the controversy? During a trick play, Lions Jared Goff caught a touchdown pass from David Montgomery. Officials initially did not throw a flag. Okay, I hate to beat a dead horse. This is the last time we're going to talk about this. You're going to hear a lot more about it, though, I can assure you. The reversal. The on-field crew later huddled and reversed the call, flagging Goff for an illegal motion penalty. The specific penalty, illegal formation or motion, is not reviewable by the league's replay system. Conflicting statements. Somebody's lying. Obviously, somebody's lying. After the game, Lions head coach Dan Campbell stated that an official, he said the same thing this morning, told him the instruction to throw the flag came from the league's office in New York. However, and I told you before, the head official, Craig Rolstad, after the game denied receiving any remote assistance. Why it's a major controversy right now? Because according to NFL rules, league officials in New York are not supposed to intervene on non-reviewable calls such as this one. They're not supposed to. The contradiction between the statements of the on-field official and the head coach creates uncertainty about what actually happened. Yeah, what actually happened. It raised questions about the legitimacy of the officiating and whether or not the NFL improperly influenced the outcome of the game. Of course they did. Of course they did. How many penalties were called? How many accepted penalties were called on the Chiefs Sunday night? How about this? How about that? Travis Kelce catches a pass that obviously hit the ground, but nobody. Where was the league then? There had to be a reason. The Chiefs were running up to the line to snap the ball. They knew it wasn't a catch. New York didn't buzz in on that one, did they? Nobody got a call on that. See, that's another rule that needs to be amended. The official should have the ability, in a case like this, to team is running up to the line to snap. Hold on a second. Wait, you can't do that. We want to look at it. That needs to be amended. The contradiction between the statements of the on-field head coach, statements of the on-field official and the head coach creates uncertainty about what actually happened. It raised questions about the legitimacy of the officiating and whether the NFL improperly influenced the outcome of the game. That's pretty obvious, isn't it? Yeah. It's not illegal, but potentially a breach of rules. And that's what we're getting at here. Okay. That's the bottom line. While there is no legal basis to criminally prosecute, of course not, the NFL for this type of officiating mistake or rule breaking, it does represent a potential breach of league's own established officiating policies. The NFL can handle such matters internally through fines, suspensions, or other disciplinary action. Courts are generally reluctant to intervene in disputes over officiating decisions in professional sports. Legal intervention is reserved for severe misconduct such as gross negligence, not for missed or controversial calls that are part of the normal flow of the game. So there you have it. Bottom line, Lions got job. Okay. And you saw the fix is in. And now Roger Goodell and everybody in New York is left with egg on their face. Now, we can't have the Chiefs. We can't have Taylor Swift with a 2-4 record. How would that look? State Farm, all the commercials that Mahomes does for them. Nah, it wouldn't be good for them either, would it? If the guy, their pitch man, is 2-4, how would that look for State Farm? No. The whole thing makes me sick. I'm sorry, folks. It just does. And this may be a good thing that I'm not doing any more shows this week until Monday. This is it. This is my third show of the week. I'll talk to you all again on Monday. Okay. I do want to remind you Saturday morning here on WCSR 92.1 FM to listen to Harrison James. He will be driving the car, if you will, or piloting the ship Saturday morning from 9 to 10. He's got a guest. Give Harrison a listen, will you, from 9 to 2. Be an entertaining show, I can assure you. Saturday morning, I'm sorry, 9 to 10. 9 to 10 Saturday morning. Locally, WCSR 92.1 FM. And as I said, I'll talk to you all again on Monday. So even though it's Wednesday, I'll bid you all a very pleasant long weekend, good weekend, whatever. Please remember to treat each other with respect. I can't thank you enough for watching and listening. Tell your friends the next subscriber will be the winner, and I'll be forever grateful. So have yourselves a great weekend. Getting to look more like fall now, isn't it? Okay. So until Monday, I'll simply say so long. Thank you for watching. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.